Thank you for joining me. Today I'm Sandra at Arty Cardair, and I have these gorgeous flowering fields cards for you today. I've used the free Celebration Flowering Fields stamp set to do this. You can earn it for free if you spend £45 on my Stampin' Up shop. And I have got this free stamp set in the wooden blocks. You can have wooden blocks or the clear mount, whichever you prefer. If you like to prep them up on your clear blocks like this, you can do so by just having the ordinary stamps, but I had it on the wooden blocks because I thought, well, it's useful to have them on wooden blocks, very easy to get out and put away again. So I'm going to show you how I created my cards today using this stamp set. So I've prepped my card up and I've used the Mossy Meadow cardstock, which is half of an A4 sheet, cut in half and then folded that way. And then I've got some old olive, which I've cut to 5 3/4 by 3 1/8, which is 14.8 by 8 centimetres. And my little Whisper White piece of card is 5 3/8 by 2 1/4 inches, which is 13.8 by 6 centimetres. So I'm going to show you how I did that today. Let's just put those to one side for the moment. The first thing we need to do is to score our little beveled edge. I've done these quirky little edges. I don't know if you can see that. Let me put them down. I've done these little edges here, here, here and here using this scoring tool. Very easy to do, and I think it just gives the card a nice look. So we're going to get the Mossy Meadow cardstock and lay it on the board 8 1/4 side down, and we're going to put our first score line in at 4 3/8. Oh, I should have done that the other way around. 4 3/8. You've got to realise that whichever way you put in, your embossing mark will be there on the front. So you put it into your scoreboard upside down. So 4 3/8, which is 11 centimetres, and then you score it at 8 inches, which is 20.2 centimetres. So that's the scoring done on the front of our card. I hope you can see that. That looks a good edge. And then getting the old olive piece of cardstock, you put that in short side, and on the short side you score it at 1/4 inch. And 2 7/8 inches, which in centimetres is 0.7 and 7.3. So that's the scoring done. We'll put that to one side. We're finished with our scoring board now. Put that away. Now on the base of these ones, I've done a little bit of stamping to give a little border. So I'm just going to do that, but on this dark cardstock you probably won't see it very well, but we're going to have a go at that. So I'm using my Mossy Meadow stamp pad. In fact, I think I'm going to switch that up and go for, I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz and hope that that shows up for you a bit better. So get the block. And what I've decided to do, I've decided to just use one of the stamp sets from the Flowering Fields, and I'm just going to do that. I did some splodges before, but I've decided to go for and I'm just randomly stamping it across the top. It doesn't matter however you want, however you want to stamp, just along the top there. You probably won't see much of it anyway, but it just gives it a little bit more detail, and I think that using that colour ink has shown up a little bit more than it would have if I'd used the Mossy Meadow. So now that's done, and we've got this which layers on the top, so I'm going to layer that on the top. No, I'm not. I'm going to stamp. I'm going to use, what have I done with my card? Piece of card. There it is. I'm going to show you how I've stamped this to get this line on here. So what I've done is I've used these two here, the little leaves and the sprays, and this reminds me of artichoke flowers. If you're a gardener, you'll think that too. So I'm using these three in the set, and I'm using Wild Wasabi ink, and in order to try and get them in a straight line, I've lined it up so that that edge there is straight, and so where they're prepped up on these blocks, make sure that you've got an equal distance at the top when you stamp. So that's my first one done, and then I'm going to get this one here, and I'm overlapping it. So when you go to stamp, I'm just overlaying the wood part on there so that it's fairly close. That's possibly too close, but you get the idea. And so you go down the whole of the length doing that. This is what I've done anyway. Like that. So that's your length. And then what I did was I got some rich raspberry ink. Let me move these out of the way. I got the rich raspberry ink, and then I inked that up, and I just did the little tops, just got the little tops to make it look a bit like a woodland. So you get the idea there. So I'm going to put these away so that I can show you what I then did with my marker pens. So then I got my Brights, this is the Brights collection, 10 marker pens, and I have coloured these in using those pens, and I've done them in what I call autumn colours. So I got the two autumn colours that are in the set. This is Pumpkin Pie and this one is Tangerine Tango. And I'll show you what I did to colour those in. In the autumn, leaves turn obviously gradually, and to give these leaves a quirky look, I've just gone over slightly, just quickly, dabbing each leaf, not fully with the colour, but just slightly on an edge or something like that. And so you get the idea what I mean there. And then I got the Pumpkin Pie colour, and I just dabbed slightly over that, just to give a different shade on the leaf, to try and make it look as though it's turning autumn and the leaves are starting to lose their colour. They're going from green to an autumn colour, shades of orange. And of course the artichokes to my way of thinking, a sort of a purpley colour. And you can colour those in if you wish. You've got a marker pen here which is rich raspberry, and if you want to go ahead and colour those in, you can. I'm not colouring mine in today, I'm leaving them as they are. So that's how I've prepped up my Whisper White sheet of card, and I've stamped it like that. So I think that you've got the idea of that. So I'll put these away, and now we are going to layer our cards together. So this goes onto here, and I'm going to stick that down with a bit of fast fuse. Layer that into the middle. Like that. And then I have layered this piece on Stampin' Dimensionals. So we'll just go along, put some of those on there. I'm going to be generous and put 8 on. So we just peel those off the back. And then you just layer that in between the two colours like that. And then we need our little sentiment, and my sentiment comes from these are called Expressions Natural Elements. You get 15 in the packet, you get 3 of each design, so you get 5 that say celebrate, 5 congrats and 5 thanks. So I'm going to stick thanks on today, and I'm going to stick that on using some glue dots. So I'm just rolling up the glue dots so that they fit into the little places for them. One more on the end, I think, is needed. Right, and then you just position that where you would like it on your card, like that. And then I've got a piece of rich raspberry cardstock here, because I want to pick out the colour of my artichokes. And what have I done with my butterfly punch? This is the itty bitty butterfly punch. We're just going to stamp one of those out with that. And then we're going to stick him on with a glue dot. So I'll just hold that up and stick that on there. To position him on our card just there, I think. Lift his wings up a little bit. Then I've got my little rhinestones. I'm going to cut 3 off, and then pick those up and layer that down on the butterfly. Give him a bit of bling. So that is my Flowering Fields card, made with my Flowering Fields free stamp set. If you go online, you'll be able to see how you can earn that for free. It's a beautiful stamp set. You can create many cards with it, and I think it's just lovely. It reminds me of going out into the countrysides. So I hope you give that a go, and until next time,